Hello again, everybody. This is where we left off with the last video, where we had a nice column chart that we had generated off of this table. Now, before we turn to the pie chart and some other different kinds of charts, I want to show you just a couple little things that we can do with this. Let's say that we need to move this to its own sheet. That's very easy to do up here in the Design tab. We can move over here and go to Move Chart, and this gives us the option to actually put it on its own separate sheet. So let's say we're going to say overall grades. We're going to click OK, and that one then goes on its own sheet. Now, let's say also that we wanted to maybe chart not the overall grades, but specific grades. Let's say students are struggling in psychology and mathematics in particular. So I want to put together some sort of chart that shows that kind of data. I'm going to go back to the recommended chart, and now we have a clustered column that's recommended, and you can see how it's going to generally look from this picture right there. So when I click OK, now we see both subjects and the grades for them are charted right here. Now we had the same issue with that 120, but again, we can change that pretty easily as we did last time. So I'm going to do that. And of course, we can change chart title. We can do all of those things here. We can add or subtract as much as we want. We can also change the style if we so desire. We can do all different kinds of things here. Maybe we want something like that that's a little more eye-catching. But this is a way to be able to show a little bit of more data within the same chart. Now, let's move on to a couple of different kinds of charts. Pie chart is a very common one for many students. They like the pie chart. It seems to work really well. So we're going to show you how to generate a pie chart. Now, a pie chart doesn't work, as I said before, with everything. A pie chart is a good way of showing certain smaller amounts from a greater whole, just like you would think of with a pie or a pizza, something like that. Small pieces, large pieces, based on kind of the general overall whole. So, for instance, in this table I have, subjects and student rosters, this would be perfect for some sort of pie chart. Why? Well, we have a total, and this is the breakdown from the total. So if I want to highlight this information, go over to the insert, go to recommended, now I have an option to have some sort of pie chart. And it shows right there, this is generally speaking how it's going to look if I put together this pie chart. Now, I'm going to actually take out the total there because I see that that might cause some problems for me. So I'm going to restart this. And this is what my pie chart is going to look like. Pretty nice, actually, right? Now again, I can click in here and I can change the title if I want, and I can say subjects or something like that. I can also, if I want to change the style, I can do that as well. I can have these little callouts. I can put in percentages from 100% if I want to do that as well. This is a nice way to, again, show certain pieces or certain elements from the greater whole. And again, as is the case, I can take certain amounts out if I see fit. I can add certain elements if I want as well. I have data tables there. I can move those around. Certainly, there's all different kinds of things that I can do with this. But this is a very, very easy way to put together a very, very easy and very, very helpful pie chart. These can be very, very beneficial. So in this case, I want to do what I did before, and I want to move the chart. So I'm going to move this over to its own sheet. And we're going to title this Subjects. And here's one last one. Now, you're not going to use these charts as much, but it's good to know that there's an option. So right here I have basically the general class grade for these three different subjects over the course of 10 weeks. And I want to show trends. I want to show trend lines. So this is going to be something that's going to require its own kind of chart. I go to recommended charts here, and I have a lot more options in this case. I can put in a clustered column, but I can also put in some different ones. Some that seem to work really well with trends of different kinds. A line chart would be perfect. In a case like this, I can also go to the line chart right there, and I have a lot more options. I can make it look like a general line chart. I can also have some sort of three-dimensional line chart, and on and on and on. Let's just choose something pretty basic here. Line chart. Now again, I'm going to want to change these up a little bit because the default is to go with 120 and we want it to be 100. I can shrink it up a little bit. I can, if I want, or I can broaden it. Oops, I don't want to do that. As I said, this one may not be as common, but when you do have data and you're trying to show certain trends or certain things that have happened in the past or are going to happen in the future, predictions, for instance, this is a really good chart to use. And again, the same goes. You can change it and you can amend it the same way as you would the other ones that we did earlier in previous videos. So these are just some very, very basic charts. There's a lot more you can do with these. We're just scratching the surface, but I hope after watching these two videos, you at the very least feel a little bit more comfort with generating these kinds of charts and graphs in Excel. Next, we're going to turn to formulas and functions. How do they work? Which ones are the best ones to choose? How do I even write them myself? So stay tuned.